As President Trump spent a long weekend at his golf club in Florida, the stock market ended the week down more than 2,200 points. It's the worst day in like 5 years. And now Trump is putting pressure on the Fed chair to cut interest rates. Posting to his social media account this morning saying, "Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics." Jerome is chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, and he doesn't seem to be very interested in being pressured by anyone. He has said repeatedly that politics plays no role in the Fed's decision making. He said every decision that is made is based on data. And just today, he said the data around Trump's tariff plan, which has now escalated into a trade war, is going to cause turmoil in the U.S. economy. Not exactly the best environment to cut interest rates.
It is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. The size and duration of these effects remains uncertain. While tariffs are highly likely to generate at least a temporary rise in inflation, it's also possible that the effects could be more persistent.
In case you don't speak Fed chair, he's saying economists were not expecting Trump's tariff plan to be this widespread and this severe. He said these moves will absolutely bring higher inflation to you and me, and we will likely see slower growth of the U.S. economy. He said it is possible that depending on how long Trump wants to stick to this policy, the longer the higher inflation and the slower GDP will stick around. Trump said, "Hold my beer." He also posted this morning, "My policies will never change." I guess that answers that question. The Fed chair said the silver lining in all of this is, at least right now, the U.S. economy is still pretty strong. Yes, we have that persistently high inflation, which is higher than the Fed's 2% goal, but certainly down from the peak in 2022. And yes, the GDP growth in the fourth quarter of last year was still showing really strong indicators. And just today, Powell pointed to a really strong jobs report from the month of March, where employers added 228,000 jobs. Now, the chair did say that those numbers were collected in mid-March, well before these tariffs were announced, so those high job creation numbers may not be sticking around much longer. The jobs report today, by the way, also found unemployment is starting to go up. In March, it was 4.2%. And we are going to get a really good check on the U.S. economy when the first quarter GDP report is released. That's happening at the end of this month. Now, here's the situation. As I've been reporting for years, the Federal Reserve is independent. They make their own decisions about interest rates. They do not have to get approval from Congress or the president. They do what they want. Chairman Powell says the Fed has put themselves in a good position to respond any way necessary to Trump's tariffs and additional policy changes. While you'll never hear Jerome Powell address Trump directly, that doesn't mean he's not watching very carefully.
We face a highly uncertain outlook with elevated risks of both higher unemployment and higher inflation. The new administration is in the process of implementing substantial policy changes in 4 distinct areas: trade, immigration, fiscal policy, and regulation. Our monetary policy stance is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties we face as we gain a better understanding of the policy changes and their likely effects on the economy. It is not our role to comment on those policies. Rather, we make an assessment of their likely effects, observe the behavior of the economy, and set monetary policy in a way that best achieves our dual mandate goals.